The sun rose slow on a broken town. Factories closed, machines shut down. Promises made, but none were kept. Dreams turned to dust while the people wept. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. The tariffs came, they hit like a storm. Families braced to keep their homes warm. A pause was given, a moment to act, but the time was wasted, that's a hard fact. 90 days of fleeting chance, a lifeline lost in a reckless dance. The clock ran out, now it's too late. Unemployment's the cruelest fate. Leaders spoke with words so grand, but their hollow deeds we can't withstand. The people begged, the people cried. Now hope's a stranger on this side. Misery's knocking, poverty's near, a future clouded by doubt and fear. If only they'd fought to make things right, we wouldn't be lost in this endless night.
And skies so blue, mountains whisper stories of dreams so true. From oceans roaring wild to valleys deep, a heartbeat of a nation that will not sleep. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. The people sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies they weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people's above it all. Save South Africa, rise above the storm. Hands together strong, a new world is born. Beauty in our hearts, let it light the way. Evil cannot reign when we seize the day. People sing louder than shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder then shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The people sing louder than the shadows can scream. Together we're stronger than the wicked scheme. The soil holds our history, roots run so long. A melody of freedom, we're singing strong. They may curse the land with lies, they weave their weave, but we hold the truth in what we believe. Their crowns may crumble, their thrones may fall, for the power is the people above it all. We know it all.
Marvin Divine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025. You're listening to the Africa program. It's Chris live from Central Pennsylvania. Welcome back once again to all the Neanderthals, the canines, the right-wing podcasters, and any aspiring car guards who happen to be out there as well. It is a pleasure to chat with you all again and to share today's news analysis. Lots of news coming out of South Africa, where the African National Congress has discovered that they have a problem. They have a tariff problem, one they've ignored for months or arguably for years. So condolences to Edward on the loss for he and his sister of their grandmother. Unfortunately, this is part of life and difficult to deal with. It's a challenge when it strikes us. Let's lighten the mood before we get into the news, given that sad news there. This is a song that is in response to the news, a song that we ginned up last night, and it is in response to the news, and the news specifically about the left losing its mind over an advertisement with Sydney Sweeney. Thank you, Lard Skoy, for the 40 Rand super chat. Vanna Durant, the 70 Rand super sticker. Thank you both for that. Sorry, I'm reading a message over here in the chat. So this is in honor of the American Eagle Outfitters campaign. It's Sydney's hot jeans. And it's not working. What's the deal here? This website can be difficult at times. Still not working. Okay, let's see what's going on here now. There we go.
I gave up on denim, thought it was dead, but Sydney's jeans turned my head. Faded blue with a reckless vibe, like a memory I can't untie. Sydney's jeans, so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. So fine, they tell a tale. Every rip's a story, every stitch a sail. She walks the streets, she owns the scene. I'm chasing dreams in Sydney's jeans. They bring the past into the now. I'm sold, I'm hooked, I don't know how. Sydney's jeans, so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. breathing on my thighs, wearing the stars under open skies. Sydney's vibe is the fire I crave, denim dreams that can't behave. Sydney's jeans so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. Sydney's jeans so hot, so cool, making old rules feel brand new. I want a pair, I need them now. American Eagle, show me how. Sydney's jeans.
Sweeney's Hot Jeans, folks. That one's inspired by Sydney Sweeney. And no, the story is not dead. It's everywhere, all the time, on all the media, all the social media, all the media outlets. Everyone's still talking about Sydney Sweeney's jeans. And so are we. This is one time that I'll jump on the bandwagon and enjoy it. Yeah, so thank you all for that. All right, let's get to the news, folks, now that we've heard from Sydney Sweeney. Phoenix says, I am the widow who sent you an email today. Have a great day. Does that mean you're leaving, Phoenix? Does that mean you're leaving? I'm not sure what that means. Well, that's piqued my curiosity now, folks. Well, lots of people sent me stuff today. And I don't see any from a lady. Single Mother, another song from Kathy Price. I don't see anything. Okay. Don't see anything. I'll check in a little bit later, Phoenix. I don't see anything there. American Eagle jeans on my bucket list. Yeah, it's on my list, and I still haven't got it out of the house. Maybe today. Maybe today. I tried. So you'll love this, folks, before we get into the news. So I need an MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, and I have my referral finally. So I called. The number is no good. I've been calling for several days. Finally, after the weekend, I said, let me try to look them up. I looked them up. This is often the case with TRICARE. It was the wrong number. I called them. They answered the phone pretty quickly, put me on hold, and they came back. And the first appointment will be after I've gone to the UK. So I'm not going to be able to get an MRI. Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, anyway. That's old news, Johannes. Zachariah Johannes Olafia. Wasn't that already decided, that case? Thought they already convicted on that case. All right, so Ramaphosa and his government clown car show are saying that they've got solutions for the tariff issue. But of course, they didn't do anything for 4 months. So we're supposed to take them at their word that they're rushing around doing things frantically now. In the meantime, the non-report, the report that doesn't exist or we're unaware of, the posting on Twitter by the State Department has got Ramaphosa and his government in their panties in a bunch. They got their panties up in a bunch. They're concerned, ladies and gentlemen. They are concerned. Yes, so much so that they respond to Twitter posts. That's what the government of South Africa is doing now, responding to Twitter posts. They're like Donald Trump now. They're just like Donald Trump. They're turning to social media to share their information. And they say specifically they dismiss. Now, this is not going to go down well in Washington. Look at that face. That looks like he's smelling a turd. South African government dismisses U.S. State Department's report on farm attacks. Again, there's no report that we're aware of publicly available, but likely there will be a report. It just won't be something that we have available. So far, all it is Twitter post. The presidency said U.S. findings that farm attacks are not ordinary crimes, lacks credibility, and has accused the country of ignoring reliable information in order to sustain a disinformation campaign against South Africa. So once again, a disinformation campaign is out against South Africa, simply telling the truth and the facts. The bottom line is these heartless bastards don't give a flying flip about anybody in the country, especially whites, but also coloreds, Indians, and even blacks they don't care about in South Africa. And they're going to sit here and play this game that there is nothing going on, that this is just ordinary crime. It is not ordinary crime. This is the cover-up of the greatest proportions, but they're not very good at covering it up. Victims are left behind. Evidence is left there. People take photographs. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The U.S. State Department Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights, and Labor claimed that attacks on farms display a distinctly brutal pattern, and they do. The Bureau said this was uncovered during its recent visit to the country as part of the President of the United States, Donald Trump's executive orders to learn more about rural farm attacks. AfriForum welcomed the findings. Presidency spokesman Vincent Mangwenya said there's no credibility that can be attached to the report. Of course, Vincent Mangwenya has zero to no credibility himself, so it's really hard to take him seriously. He said the Bureau visited Cape Town only once and also ignored credible SNAP statistics. Well, no, they didn't ignore credible SNAP statistics. Folks, I've shown you the proof. We have proof in one case where they've covered this up, and we know this happens hundreds of times. They cover this stuff up. But I've shown you the proof on this channel. A police report from a farm murder in Brits that was fraudulently reported as a house robbery. In order for that house robbery to have occurred, the following events took place. Trespassing, that's a crime. Breaking and entering, that's a crime. Assault with a deadly weapon, that's a crime. Attempted murder, that's a crime. Robbery, that's a crime. There's at least 5 felony crimes right there. Only one crime was reported, house robbery, to cover up that it was a farm attack, to cover up that it was a domestic terrorist event meant to frighten people off the farms. The fact that all the people there weren't the foreigners that they often blame it on when they do actually pay attention to farm attacks. There were local Tswana speakers who did this. They beat a 70-plus-year-old man to death, tied up in a wheelchair, because they're cowards. If you want to rob, you simply break in, you take what you need, you leave. You don't torture a man for hours. You don't rape women, elderly, 80-year-old women. In this case, the woman wasn't raped to our knowledge, but I don't know if that's true or not. You need to be in this right here in South Africa. It's beyond, far beyond. Justin, I've been there. I've been there. I've been doing this for 30 years. I don't know what you're talking about. I need to be there, in there. I just came back from South Africa. There's nothing constructive or new out of the report. Well, there's no report. So the South African government's lending credence here. Have they seen a report? There hasn't been a DLR report published yet. We are fully aware of all challenges relating to crime in our country, including crimes that are committed in rural and farming areas. We're also working addressing all crimes. No, you're not. No, you're not. Mangwenya is lying. They're not addressing it. What have they done? They disbanded the commandos. And since then, everything's gone to crap. Not that that was an effective response, but at least it was deterrence. He said SAPS also reported the number of murders increased to 44 in 2024. These are not ordinary crimes in some documented cases. Reports detail victims tortured or killed without anything being stolen. Earlier this year, a man was beaten and hacked with a machete. In another incident, an elderly woman was assaulted and repeatedly stabbed. In both cases, no theft occurred. These attacks were not motivated by poverty alone. DLR added that in one of the notable incidents, it sounds like they've got the report now. Is the report actually out, or is that just the text from the Twitter post? Assailants chanted, "Kill the boer, kill the farmer," as they stabbed their victim, adding that these are not fringe slogans. In one case, graffiti praising these leaders was painted on a farmhouse before the owners were brutally attacked. Despite this, as President of the United States highlighted the show, many South African leaders have failed to condemn this song. In response, report AfriForum said it was convinced that this is a result of years of consistent advocacy. Well, I don't agree with that. AfriForum, you're not nearly as effective as you think you are. I appreciate your efforts, but you're far from the only person can here to tell you that the U.S. intelligence community is aware of what's happening, has been briefing presidents for 30 years about what's happening. However, violence monitor Mary DeHaas said the report was not objective, adding that crime affects everyone in South Africa. See, that's whataboutism. That's racist bullshit. Whataboutism. She said if there was an objectivity in the report, the Bureau would look at what is happening in rural black communities where the murder rate is higher. You don't know that they didn't look at those. You don't know that, Mary DeHaas, because you haven't seen the report. You're just making assumptions. This is a very biased, racist agenda to focus on white farmers when most of the brutal victims of farm and crime are black people in South Africa. They're trying to punish South Africa because of the World Court case. I don't know who Mary DeHaas is, but clearly she's a pretty clueless leftist who is spreading nonsense. Let's go find out who Mary DeHaas is. Mary DeHaas. Let's see who she is. Want to bet she's leftist? An author. An advocate. Activist for political rights. Okay. Well, she's pretty clueless. An advocate and activist for political human rights. Qualified registered social worker. Anthropology. Okay. So she's not an advocate. She's not a lawyer. She's just simply a sociologist. Yep. She has 5 articles in the Mail and Guardian that have been published by her, or she's mentioned. She's mentioned 5 articles. So that's Mary DeHaas. I don't know who she is and where she's coming from, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. Doesn't know what she's talking about, calling it a racist agenda. Well, screw you, Mary DeHaas. You're the racist with your garbage there. You don't know what you're talking about. The Bureau of Democracy, Labor, and Human Rights is not a racist organization and disgraceful for you. You don't know what you're talking about. I've worked with these people. They're not racist. You're a clown car show. Good lords. Yeah, she should go stay on a farm with Johann Rupert. Go stay with Johann Rupert. And you can leave your windows open. Wow, another white traitor to South Africa. And I'm talking about all South Africa, not white South Africa. I'm talking all South Africa. These people who dismiss things and try to couch it in well, everyone's a victim of crime. Now, I'm so sick of these clowns. I'm really tired of people like this. I don't know who Mary DeHaas is, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. Let's put her on a farm for a day. Let's see what happens to her when she gets raped and murdered. Yeah, what will she say then? Nothing, because she'll be dead. She won't have anything to say. Well, Ronnie Lamola slams opposition parties and members of his own government national unity as the U.S. slaps tariffs. He blames the opposition for the tariffs. Now, dingbat doorknob Ronnie Lamola hasn't done anything except sit in the White House and smirk. He hasn't done anything to improve foreign relations. We don't have an ambassador from South Africa yet. And the last one you sent was a race hustler. And you knew that before you sent him. And then you insulted the Trump administration by rushing him to get accredited before Trump became president. And you're going to attack the opposition parties because of the tariffs? There's only one thing the ANC is good at. 2 things: theft and distraction. Lamola slams opposition parties as U.S. slaps 30% tariff. Yep. International Relations and Cooperation Minister Little Ronnie Lamola has lashed out at opposition parties within and outside the GNU for failing to speak with one voice on matters of national interest, following the United States' decision to impose a 30% tariff. Speaking in a joint media briefing at the Germiston Civic Center in Ekurhuleni, he was alongside Parks Towell and called on all South Africans to unite in response to the escalating trade dispute. There's no escalation, dude. There's no escalation. The escalation's over, unless you want the other 10%. Do you want the other 10%, Ronnie? There's no escalation. It's there. There's no escalation. We've reached a plateau, unless you like the other 10%. These are complex issues. All South Africans should speak with one voice to the national interest, whether in opposition, in the GU, and government, or outside government, NGOs, and business. Really? So because of your failure, your abject failure. Man, this is the failed justice minister. Now he's a failed foreign minister, which is typical for ANC ministers. Fail at this, fail at this. I mean, look at Lindiwe Sisulu. Loser, 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 loser. One portfolio after another. Angie Mocheka. Loser, loser. Even bigger loser everywhere she goes. Incompetent twits who couldn't get a job at a wimpy restaurant at OR Tambo. They'd be fired. Any one of these twits would be fired at OR Tambo because they're lazy and incompetent. They'd be fired just like that. Lamola said the government has worked diligently to stabilize and strengthen trade. No, you haven't. What have you done? You went to D.C. in May, insulted Trump, laughed about the murder of white farmers and commercial farmers, and then went back to South Africa and laughed about it. And offered a joke of $1.2 billion a year of LNG. We'll buy $1.2 billion of your LNG every year. Seriously? Seriously? Spare me. He says this decision comes as both countries are engaged in efforts to resolve long-standing bilateral issues. Engaged? You're not here. No ambassador, no representative, no trade delegation, nothing. Sadly, these efforts now seem to have been undermined, much to our dismay. No, they haven't been undermined. You've undermined it. It's not the DA. It's not IFP. It's not MK. They didn't exist. It wasn't EFF because they didn't exist, who refused to sign an Article 98 waiver for U.S. personnel. It was UANC. It was not those other parties that imposed a 75% tariff on our poultry. It was UANC. It was not those other parties that shipped something on the Lady R and then lied about it for months on end. It was you, and then did a cover-up investigation. It was you, ANC. It was you. You could sing Shaggy's It Wasn't Me all day long, but it was you. It was you. Nobody else. You can blame everybody. Oh, disinformation. It's not disinformation. Folks, during the apartheid era, the government may have killed a total of 2,400 South Africans. That's horrible. But since the ANC has taken over, there have been over 700,000 murders in South Africa. 2,500, 700,000. And most of that 700,000 are black. Thank you, Frankly Foundation, for joining. What a crap car show. This is not just a South African phenomenon. The U.S. has imposed similar tariffs on both its allies and adversaries. We must not take it personally, but instead work to find common ground. That's the only thing that Ronnie Lamola has said in the past 36 months that makes sense. You're not the only victims here. But you've been crying victim for 6 months, 7 months, setting the stage that you're the victim, that the U.S. is racist, that you said it yourself. The U.S. is attacking people, attacking South Africa, trying to change our domestic policy. That's what you said. Now, see how they subtly change this. Do you honestly think that this late change of heart, which is fake, is going to change them, move the needle at all in DC? It's not. Such frauds, such total incompetent, inept frauds. They were warned. You know the ANC watches this program. They do. I know the South African watches this because Ms. Vanderheever keeps making stories off my videos and getting things incorrect. Megan, send me a note. I'll help you with the facts so you can get your stories accurate. The ANC watches this stuff. I've warned them for 18 months. A go is gone. It's not going to come back. And now I've told you for certain since Trump became president, it's gone. And then I've told you about these issues long before the 4 preconditions were ever given to Cornay Mulder when he was in the States. I've been talking about that and many other issues that have to be addressed that are being ignored. Yes, Cockprot24 does love this channel too. They tend to run stories after I correct the narrative. Well, check this out. Now, after months of not sending an ambassador, after sending an idiot to be the ambassador, an avowed America hater, a Trump hater, a white hater, a Christian hater, Ibrahim Rasul, his own words, not mine. His words, not mine. He said the stuff, not me. After sending him back to Washington in the dark of night before Trump became president to piss off Trump and the new administration, now Ronnie Lamola says we're at the late stage, the advanced stage of picking an ambassador. Really? Who's it going to be? Tony Leon? Rolf Meyer? The process to appoint a new ambassador to the U.S. is an advanced stage. He's claiming that President Ramaphosa has always prioritized the U.S. in terms of ambassadorial responsibility. Really? Really? Prioritized? Then why did you send Ibrahim Rasul? And he was sent home in March. April, May, June, July, August. 5 months ago. And you don't have a replacement? Out of 63 million people, you don't have enough human capital to send a replacement for Ibrahim Rasul in 5 months? Why is that? Why is that? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, South Africa is steadfast in negotiating a trade deal. I'm sorry, folks, but it's like the comedy hour here. It's like listening to, I don't know, Robin Williams up here. You know, it's crazy. Parks Towell said there's now Parks Towell is not in America. He's only been in America one time in the past 6 months, to my knowledge. He's not negotiating. He's in a representation here. No ambassador. Nobody actually do a trade deal. They didn't even go to the U.S. Africa Business Summit in Luanda. Parks Towell was too busy, I don't know, clipping his toenails. He wasn't in Luanda. 16 African heads of state went to Luanda. And look at that. A bunch of them got 15%. Here they are. These two clowns. The Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, and International Relations say they will continue to use available diplomatic channels. What diplomatic channels? Please, could somebody please tell me what diplomatic channels are open? Do they have a bat phone? Do we have a bat phone? Oh, yeah. Hello. Ring, ring. Hello. Yes. Can you get the U.S. Trade Representative on the line? Thank you very much. Hi, this is Parks Towell. We have a deal for you. What trade? What lines are open? There are no lines of communication open. That's just a total lie. Fabrication. Why don't they tell you what the lines are? Hazel, asking me questions like that in the middle of the news is inconsiderate, and do you honestly expect that I'm going to respond to that? I will respond to it, and I'll remind folks that this is not time to ask questions about refugees. You can ask me when I've done the news. You like the chats I've done with Earl, but could you chat with some of the post-May 12th refugees? Well, when they agree to come on air, I'll do it. Do you honestly think I go, I only want to talk to Earl. Let's avoid everybody else. Earl's a fun guy to talk to, so I'm not going to talk to anybody else. We're not going to do it. Do you have any idea how much time I spend trying to convince people to come on and then leaving them alone and not approach them when they want to be left alone? And dealing with 35 news agencies that are harassing me over getting access to refugees. Do people honestly think that I am intentionally not talking? By the way, I've talked to lots of refugees. I've had 10 refugees on the program from the first 59. Not a single one from the second, including somebody who got to the States courtesy of me. My intervention. They were left forgotten out of the original 59. Supposed to have gone. Couldn't go because they had a passport. My intervention got them over there. And those people were out busy posting videos all the time talking about their experience in the United States. And don't even respond to my request to come on. So, that's what I'm dealing with, Hazel. Some people are just users. They're ungrateful. They're going, pester me with a million questions, get over it, and don't have the courtesy to follow up to let other people know what their experience is. I have no control over that. Hazel, I've asked. Politely, but I'm not going to continue to ask people who've not even responded to my question. That's their prerogative. They owe me nothing. They don't have to appear on the program. I appreciate your interest in other people. I would love to hear from other people too. But I'm in contact with people in later arrivals. None of them want to come on air. Why? Because of what's been going on. I don't blame them. The 59 are known because the media, they dox them all. Other people don't want people to know. They've got businesses, they've got homes, they've got families still in South Africa, and they're all under threat. So, Hazel, I wasn't attacking you. I'm just telling you this is not the time for FG questions because my moderators and my viewers are going to come after you and say, stop asking FG questions. That's why I did that, okay? So that you don't get beat up. Now, you guys leave her alone, okay? And thank you, Hazel, for your question. But please hold questions like that till the news is over. You see now we've just dedicated 3 minutes in the middle of the news. It's bad enough that I play music. Some people don't like that. Some people don't like when I play music. Anyway, thank you for your question, Hazel. Anyway, Ronnie Lamola and Parkstown are just clowns. South Africa outlines its support measures in response to U.S. tariffs. All right, it's August 4th. On August 1st, the South African government realized that they have to do something. So they said they're going to put a help desk up. Woo, a help desk. Why hasn't that been there all along? They're going to engage. Engage? What do you mean engage now? They're going to diversify trade. You're going to diversify trade. And then the most comical statement of all. This is the most let me find it because I took a note of this earlier. This is the most comical statement of all. You ready for this? Ramaphosa claims that South Africa will push forward with plans for a free trade area for the African continent. Excuse me? What exactly does that mean? You see, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement already exists. Is he blowing smoke up our skirts? Does he not even know that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement was implemented in 2021? 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago. Does he not know that? Is he unaware of that? Is he confused? Or does he just think he's talking to stupid people in South Africa? There is a continental-wide free trade agreement. It isn't working. It doesn't give free trade. That's just bullshit. But Ramaphosa says it's going to work towards a free trade agreement. And this is a help desk, diversifying trade. You don't open markets up in the next day. What an idiot. What an idiot. And they're going to target new markets. Yes. Well, the ANC is going to target new markets. Well, they should have been doing this for 30 years. Yes, I think Ramaphosa is going to be kicked to the curb long before then. South Africa will seek new markets in Africa and Asia as it continues to negotiate. So it's that easy to open up a new market. Okay, so the Asian markets aren't saturated already. And everyone else is not dealing with the same issue. 80 countries that had tariffs aren't dealing with the same issue. And you've got one of the worst tariffs. You've got the worst tariff in all. By the way, the worst tariff in sub-Saharan Africa applied was to South Africa. Lesotho, which was threatened with 50%, got 15%. Half what South Africa got. Botswana got 15%. South Africa got the worst in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, why is that? Because the people running the country. That's why. So, here you go from the deep in thought and contemplating Cyril Ramaphosa. From the desk of the poser president. Dear fellow South African. How about South Africans? The decision by the United States to impose 30% tariff on South African imports highlights the urgency with which we have to adapt to increasingly turbulent headwinds in international trade. The U.S. is South Africa's second largest trading partner by country, and these measures will have a considerable impact on industries that rely heavily on exports to that country. Domestic sectors such as agriculture, automotive, and textiles have historically benefited from duty-free access to the U.S. market under the African Growth Opportunity Act. Our trade relations have historically been complementary in nature. Yeah, anyway, this guy's just full of himself. As government, we've been engaging the United States to enhance mutually beneficial trade and investment relations. All channels of communication remain open to engage with the U.S. No, they don't. No, they don't. Just simply saying the channel's open doesn't make it open. You actually have to take proactive steps. You have to take proactive steps. Insane. 30% tariff on South exports will hit just 30,000 jobs. So Raleigh Lamola can't even figure out what the central banker told him. He says 30,000 jobs will be affected. No. Easily hundreds of thousands of jobs. These people are clueless. They're completely clueless. Folks, I've covered this endlessly. Apparently someone's in here promoting another channel. I've covered this endlessly. I've told you for the past 5 years that there is no free trade in Africa. Africa cannot absorb and will not absorb imports from South Africa. It takes weeks, months to get a desk shipped from Kenya to South Africa and vice versa. It doesn't work. It just takes a matter of days to get anything from China to South Africa or from the U.S. to South Africa. Africa does not have the means to absorb. The Middle East can only absorb so much food from South Africa, and they're not going to absorb the other things. They're not going to buy your defense articles. They haven't been buying them. They had the opportunity. They didn't do it. Just not going to happen. Asia's saturated. Africa has no interest. It's all fraudulent. It's all a mess. South Africa's business leaders are calling around proposals to establish a trade crisis committee. Well, that's a bit late. Where was the business at 4 months ago? Yeah, there's your 30% pass rate, 30,000 versus 100,000. As South Africa embraces for the tariff on U.S. exports, the Department of Trade, Industry, and Competition has moved swiftly to establish an export support desk. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. But business is asking for them to establish a crisis committee. And of course, they won't establish a crisis committee because they're clueless. South Africa is making progress in pivoting to other markets, claims Parkstone. These people just lie to you. They have, I mean, that's why they're there. They're accomplished liars. That's why they have these positions. You can barely see Ronnie Lamola. He blended in the background there. But you just can't open the floodgates to China. Well, of course you can't open the floodgates to China because China has higher tariffs on your agricultural exports than the U.S. does at 30%. They have 40% tariffs on many of your goods. You're not going to open any floodgates up. They have tariffs. This is the insanity. Africa has tariffs, even though it's supposed to be tariff-free. China has tariffs, even though they're BRICS members. All this whining about the U.S., and the U.S. has simply raised the tariffs to the level that your trading partners already have imposed on South Africa. Oh, my goodness. Stupid people should wear signs. Well, as I think one of my viewers mentioned yesterday, 360 says, I wasn't promoting him, Colonel. Apologies. It was more about the news about the one shipping line that's pulled out of the U.S. routes and how tariffs are already impacting. No reason to apologize, 360. No reason to apologize. I misinterpreted your comment. You guys don't have to apologize. Unless you're rude, you don't have to apologize. People are allowed to say what they like in the chat as long as they don't attack others and they aren't disrespectful to me. No, that's fine. It's fine, 360. Yeah. It's fine, 360. Yeah, I didn't see that. So I can't really fully comment on that. No sweat, 360. You're good. You're good to go. All right. And where's the lady who asked me to make the asked me about the refugee stuff? Don't run off. I want to hear what you've got to say later on. U.S. has canceled exercise shared accord. This is a big event. There will be no exercise shared accord with South Africa's Department of International Relations, and cooperation informed by the embassy that the exercise is off. According to DIP note dated 1 August from the embassy, it informed the appropriate South African agencies that the U.S. Department of Defense has canceled exercise shared accord scheduled for 11 to 22 August. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Defense and military veterans presented requirements deemed inconsistent with the agreements between our governments that DoD could not support. Exercise was set to happen in the Free State from 11/22 with a focus on past shared accords on peace support, humanitarian relief, and combat scenarios. Cancellation comes days after Military Command for Africa, AFRICOM, was reported as intensifying its outreach and partnerships across southern Africa with recent high-level visits. High-level visits to Angola and Botswana. U.S. is deepening its engagements with southern Africa, except for South Africa. The current Washington agenda for South Africa is to do the complete opposite. From what I understand, the Department of Defense military veterans would not agree to policies already outlined in the status force agreement, would not only apply to SOFA correctly. This is yet another act of self-sabotage. So what we have happening here, folks, what we have happening here is South Africa has a status of forces agreement with the United States, and they're violating it. They're making demands on our forces and our logistics that are not in the agreement. So once again, stupid people. What's the point of having an agreement if you don't follow it? 6 months ago, Shared Accord was a go with its main planning conference taking place at the 44 Parachute Regiment outside Bloemfontein. Exercise planners from SANDF were joined by representatives from the U.S. Southern European Task Force, plus the New York National Guard, which is a partner with South Africa. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, 600,000 I think is a good number, Condor. Thank you for 35 Rand. Yeah, so after the conference, SANDF Corporate Communications said multiple strategic objectives were identified. Anyway, yeah. It's over. It's over because of South Africa's idiocy. U.S. cancels joint military exercise. South Africa banned U.S. forces from bringing weapons into the country, violating the original agreement. So we have a status force agreement which allows us to bring weapons, but they wouldn't let us bring weapons into South Africa. How do troops train without weapons? What kind of fairies do military exercises without weapons? What kind of morons make such a stupid demand when you have an agreement that allows for weapons? We've been there before. We had 750 Marines there a decade ago doing an exercise. We do shared accord every year. Not always with South Africa. We do it every year. We have shared accord, Eastern Accord. So they say we can't take weapons. Unity Shield was the fifth operation of its kind and only remaining joint military exercise between U.S. and South Africa. Previous tensions include U.S. criticism of South African military exercise with Russia. Yeah, so we can't bring weapons. They violated the agreement. U.S. soldiers will be transported aboard one of their enormous C-17s, which has regularly been held over the past decade. Hundreds of South African soldiers have already been deployed in Bloemfontein. Good, so you're wasting your money. Well, that's well done. It's been planned since March with a team from the U.S.'s Southern European Task Force. Yep, cancellation exercise indicates further deterioration of diplomatic ties. Last year, we didn't go to the Africa Aerospace and Defense Arms Show at the last minute because the military was allegedly slow in issuing a security guarantee for aircraft. Yep, so they wouldn't provide security protection for our military aircraft last year, so we didn't go. And now we're not doing an exercise, which we do every year because they're making demands. They're telling us we can't bring firearms. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's in the SOFA, Status Force Agreement. MK Party versus Cyril Ramaphosa. This is a real fight coming in South Africa. Second round of court battles looms over appointment of police minister. So they're still trying to do this. Still trying to sort this out. This police minister nonsense. In neighboring Botswana, the president, Duma Boka, a socialist, shows up wearing skinny jeans in Zambia. And you can see the Zambian president is none too impressed. Hakainde Hichilema is not impressed. Look at this clown wearing skinny jeans. Who does he think he is, Barack Obama? Boko was spotted wearing a pair of skinny jeans and a torn, ripped design, plus palladium boots, a sweater, and a cap, while other guests, including Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema, were dressed in suits. It's no stranger making headlines, known for his modest sense of style. Well, I guess he's another John Fetterman. He's Botswana's John Fetterman. Give him a hoodie. Lesotho and South Africa are discussing the illegal military training camps that supposedly exist in the Free State. National Police Commissioner General Fanny Masemola on Monday led a delegation of senior officials from government departments under the auspices of the National Joint Operational Intelligence Structure to meet his counterpart in Lesotho, Advocate Borotho Matsoso. High on the agenda are discussions about allegations that there are illegal Basotho training camps in South Africa. Late last month, he said preliminary investigations had uncovered no evidence of the camps. So, apparently, there is no evidence. People going on and on about this. 22 people have been killed in violence in Angola in the past since last week. Unrest in Angola followed protests against the fuel price. That figure rose to 22 people killed there. Unfortunate. Well, land grabs, ladies and gentlemen. People are illegally squatting and grabbing land. And no, I'm not talking about Northwest Province and Mpumalanga, the Free State. I'm talking about Somaliland. Yes, illegal land grabs in Somaliland. There are land thieves all over Africa. Recently, the new Somaliland administration signed a $100 million agricultural project agreement to boost agriculture and food security with U.S.-based African food security. Local farmers and pastoralist communities are against the plan because of the lack of consultation. The blatant disregard for local people and communal farmers would already... Yeah, anyway. They're stealing land. So they're being disregarded because they're thieves. The RSF, the Rapid Support Forces, have stormed a detention site and continue to tighten their grip on the army in Al-Fashir in Sudan. A high-level operation carried out by Rapid Support Forces in Al-Fashir, the capital of North Darfur, has revealed the use of former United Nations African Union Mission compound as a secret detention facility operated by joint forces allied with the Sudanese army. The operation resulted in the release of a detainee held inside the compound, which, according to local sources, had been converted into an unofficial prison used to detain opponents and suspects. Wow. Well, that's not good. Sudan, what a mess. All these people want to do is kill each other. That's all they want to do is kill each other. That's all they're about. It's killing each other. Ghana has raised the amount of money that it pays. Now, see, it shouldn't be the government paying. It should be the private marketplace paying. But the government sets a price for cocoa, and that's why people are in poverty. So the government has risen the price paid by 63% because the price of cocoa is spiking. Ghana money increased the producer price for cocoa by more than 60% ahead of the season, and more move expected to put pressure on top cocoa producing rivals like Ivory Coast. It could also raise the global cocoa cost even further at a time when supply chains are already tightening due to climate shocks and aging farms. Finance Minister Cancellation Atto Forson said the rate paid to farmers will rise from $3,100 to $5,040 per ton, a 63% increase for cocoa. Well, if you like chocolate, you better get it now because the price is going up. More than 140 illegal immigrants are feared dead in a boat disaster near Yemen. The boat capsized along with a heavily traveled but treacherous route for Africans transiting the war-torn country to find work in the rich Gulf states. At least 74 African criminal alien invaders were missing after the boat capsized off of Yemen. It's unfortunate. Quit being criminals. Well, Myanmar's junta has ended the state of emergency as they prepare for elections. Look at this war hero. Opposition groups have vowed to snub the poll that has been dismissed as fraud designed to legitimize military rule. Myanmar's junta has ended the country's state of emergency, stepping up preparations for a December election that's been boycotted by opposition groups. They've had a state of emergency since February of 2021 when Joe Biden came in office and they thumbed their nose at him. Junta Chief Min Aung Hlaing, Supreme Commander of Legislature, Executive and Judiciary, recently touted elections as an off-ramp for the conflict. State of emergency is abolished today in order for the country to hold elections for the path to multi-party democracy. Yeah, good luck with that. These people have been committing genocide against the Rohingya and killing many other people. Swiss government could revise an offer in an effort to avoid U.S. tariffs. The non-EU country is set to be hit by one of the highest tariff rates imposed by Washington in just 3 days. Switzerland is open to changing its offer to the United States in response to planned tariffs. Bahrain has been hit with 39% tariffs. Only Laos and Burma and Syria had steeper tariffs. A special meeting to the Federal Council, the Swiss equivalent of the Cabinet, will be held today to discuss Bahrain's response. In a statement on Friday, Federal Council said it noted with great regret the decision by the United States to impose unilateral additional tariffs on Switzerland. We need to fully understand what happened, why the U.S. president made its decision, and what we have to have on the table. We can decide how to proceed then. Timeline's tight. The Swiss stock market opened 1.9% lower on the 39% tariffs today. European Union has suspended U.S. tariff countermeasures for 6 months. Why don't they just get rid of them altogether? We reached an agreement, so why are they keeping them? EU will suspend its 2 packages of countermeasures U.S. tariffs for 6 months. Olaf Gill, the Commission spokesman for trade, said in a statement that work continues in the U.S. to finalize a joint statement. With these objectives in mind, the Commission will take necessary steps to suspend for 6 months. So why are they not suspending them altogether? They're going to buy $750 billion worth of energy from the U.S. And tariffs on U.S. imports for automobiles will be set at 15%. Tariffs on South African automobiles are at 30%. Twice. Your automobile industry is dead. A long dormant Russian volcano is active for the first time in centuries. The eruption of the Krashnikov volcano came after a series of seismic events. So this is on Sunday. The unusual eruption of Russia's remote and sparsely populated Kamchatka region, and that, of course, is what set off the tsunami alerts across the Pacific this week. Well, disappointing employment. Trump is just riding a wave with success, and now disappointing numbers are coming in. Disappointing employment numbers, tariff uncertainty, dog Trump with Democrats seeking foothold. According to Gallup, only 37% of voters approve of Trump's economy. Really? An economy that's growing at 3% per year, has inflation at 1% per year, and employment at record levels, and people are unhappy with that? I suspect that that's a little bit untrue, that poll. Texas governor has threatened to remove Democrats who left the state over the Trump redistricting plan. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he will begin to try to remove Democratic lawmakers from office if they do not return after dozens of them left the state in an attempt to block the adoption of redrawn House maps. Some lawmakers, including those who left Sunday for Illinois, clapped back, accusing Abbott of using smoke and mirrors to make threats to go beyond his legal authority. The revolt by Democrats in the House and Abbott's threat ratcheted up a widening fight over congressional maps that began in Texas, but expanded to include Democratic governors who floated the possibility of rushing to redraw their own state maps in retaliation. We're not going to tolerate democracy being stolen in modern-day stagecoach heist by a bunch of law-breaking cowboys, says Kathy Hochul, who gerrymandered her districts. That state did that. Pennsylvania did that. In fact, we're living under a corrupt regime right now where Pennsylvania, less than a year before an election, 9 months before an election, forced the state to revert to something from a decade prior, which had been adjusted legally. And the Supreme Court, the captured, corrupt, Democratic-led 5-2 Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, forced people who'd already spent campaign effort, dollars, knocked on doors, and wasted resources when the maps were redrawn. We went from 12 Republicans and 6 Democrats to 9 Republicans and 9 Democrats. And now we're at 9 and 8 because we lost a congressional seat. Yeah, I don't want to hear any hypocrisy coming from Democrats. Boeing defense workers go on strike. Their union representing just 3,200 St. Louis workers rejected the company's latest offer. As if Boeing doesn't have enough problems. Leaders face another picket line after machinists in St. Louis area defense business rejected the latest offer. They've been working without a contract for a week. Work stoppage is continuing. Last year, Boeing had 33,000 employees on strike. So, Tesla will give Elon Musk $23.7 billion stock award to stay focused. 96 million new shares to its chief executive. Wow. Weakening everyone else's shares. Tesla took a first step to keep its leader focused on the struggling electric vehicle maker, awarding the world's richest man one of the biggest ever stock awards to stick around for at least 2 years. Tesla's board approved a stock award for Musk that it tentatively valued at $24 billion, which he can claim in 2 years unless a court rescues his prior larger stock option grant. Oh, boy. Star of WKRP in Cincinnati, the blonde bombshell, Loni Anderson has passed away at the age of 79. Loni Anderson, who played the struggling radio station's empowered receptionist on the hit TV comedy WKRP in Cincinnati, died Sunday, days before her 80th birthday. She died at Los Angeles Hospital following a prolonged illness, according to her longtime publicist. We're heartbroken to announce the passing of our dear wife, mother, and grandmother, Anderson's family said in a statement. WKRP in Cincinnati aired from 1978 to 1982 and was set in the flagging Ohio radio station trying to reinvent itself with rock music. The class included Gary Sandy, Tim Reed, Howard Hessman, who's also passed away, Frank Bonner, and Jan Smithers, alongside Anderson as Jennifer Marlowe, whose good looks were matched by her intelligence. As the station's receptionist, the blonde and high-heeled Jennifer routinely deflected unwanted business calls for her boss, Mr. Carlson. Her efficiency is often kept the station running in the face of others' incompetence. The role earned Anderson 2 Emmy Award nominations and 3 Golden Globe nominations. She starred on the big screen alongside Burt Reynolds in 1983 comedy Stroker Ace, and the two later married and became tabloid fixtures before they got divorced in 1994. Their son, Quentin Reynolds, is the best decision we ever made in our entire relationship, she said. She was born in 1925 in St. Paul, Minnesota. Her father was an environmental chemist, and her mother was a model. Surprise, surprise. Her first acting role was in 1966. Anderson is survived by Flick, her daughter, that's her husband, Deidre, son-in-law Charlie Hoffman, son Quentin Anderson Reynolds, grandchildren Mackenzie and Megan Hoffman, stepson Adam Flick, and wife Helene and step-grandchildren, Felix and Maximilian. Private service will be held for her on Sunday, I believe. Lonnie Anderson, dead at 79. Wow. People just come and go, folks. All right. That's the news. I love WKRP too. She was hot. Light Rain says the Boeing crash in India found that, yes, they found that the engines were shut down intentionally. It was homicide. Yep. Well, she's 79. Her cheeks are full. Baby, have you ever wonder whatever became of me? I'm living on the air in Cincinnati, WKRP. Got tired of walking up and down the dial, town to town. WKRP, man. What a great show. Les Nessman, Johnny Fever. Howard Hessman's dead too. Yep. Take us, oh, tender white people. What's this, Mister? You're welcome for the news, Arnold. My pleasure. Yeah, well, they're not the first Otter pilots. Remember that German wings flight that flew into a French Alps mountain, killing everyone on board? Pilot committed suicide. Insanity. Always have being, and he cannot find cons with Elon Musk, but his business is brought. I have no idea what you're saying, Ruben. Dems are really losing their minds as President Trump just keeps on winning. Yep, they are, but the numbers don't look good this week according to that poll. Brender, thank you for your membership. Best news analysis, awesome. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Trump doing right. America has not done a tariff increase since 1930. Trump is only taking care of America. It's about time. Exactly. We've been letting the world take advantage of us for decades. We went from a creditor nation to a debtor nation. We went from a country with a budget surplus to one with a perpetual deficit, all because of the policies of Congress and presidents and the get along, go along of the elites in this country. They've buried us in debt. They've bastardized the dollar, making it worthless. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. You know, if they hadn't been cheapening the dollar by printing fake money during the quantitative easing BS that was going on under Bush and Obama, then the euro would have collapsed during the crisis that occurred over a decade ago. But they so cheapened our currency, there was no other option. Marianne Henning, hello to you. Arthur Fundamavis, Sir, Sadaf and Sandef. I'll bet you saw a lot of change alert. Sorry, you're doing a military exercise, but you can't bring weapons. Exactly, Fleshin. Exactly. You're doing a military exercise, but you can't bring weapons. This is what the South Africans are trying to tell us. We have a SOFA that allows us to bring weapons, but they're saying can't bring weapons, so we're not going to come. Another example of South Africa just being stupid. South Africa, we know, is gone. No need to debate it. We need to see how the people can change around. Yep, well, South Africans need to stand up. In Lion King, the good guy wins. But yes, under the rule of Scar. Hey, Dylan. You have the world's time in your browser there. I'm pretty sure Australia is sleeping. Well, in Perth, it's midnight. In Sydney, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Wellington, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Yep. So yes, I have world times down there because I operate on a global timeline, so I have to have all those times. Africa screwed, says Pierre Rousseau. True. Yeah. How's the cricket? Oh yeah, Fonz didn't quit watching rugby, did he? Thank you, Veroshka. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being a paying member. Has anyone done the calculations trade 30 plus adding to the knock-on? I did. I mean, it was 2.5% for most goods, and so that's gone. So you've got 2 plus 5% plus 30%, so it's close to 33% more already. Good evening, Pig Daddy. Trump showed Steenhuisen that dark place with elephant carcasses and said, "Don't ever go there." Steenhuisen walked in, the hyena's dead. I don't know what you're talking about, Mad Max, but that's funny. UK protesting against illegal governments in the state of the nation. What are we as South Africa? Can't bring your weapons. Dingane said the same. Oh my goodness. C2251. I didn't even think about that. That's brilliant. Yes, the American soldiers can't bring their weapons, and that's exactly what Dingane told Pete Retief. Ooh. That was spot on. I'm glad I caught that comment. That was spot on. Yeah, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that, C2251. Yes. Yes, we can't bring our weapons. Didn't Ngani say that once upon a time? I think I'll do a short on that. Nothing wrong with their jeans. Jack, what are you talking about? You're coming in late from Minnesota. We're not talking about jeans right now. That was at the beginning. Oh, my goodness. How on earth can we ever recover from this? Unbelievable to hear this every day. Well, the good news, Fonz, is that it's so bad that recovery will be easy. It will be long, but it'll be easy. Improvement will be very easy to show. You just have to get rid of the jackals. What now? Get rid of the jackals. Get rid of this corrupt government. Yep. The knock-on effects here in Eastern Cape could destroy it. Oh, Eastern Cape was already bad. Now it's really going to be dead. If VW get itchy here in P, then the Mercedes in East London and VW gone, knock-on effects could make it a wasteland. Yep, 100%. Excuse me. I tried to make a graphic from my video that I did about the tariffs and the response from South African government, but all of the free image generators puked it out. They wouldn't give me one. They know they will steal your equipment. Yep. Troops too fat doing exercise. That's true, too. Rather than interrupt the broadcast, why not ignore and allow your mods to direct those refugee questions? Wait. Well, why are you asking that question, Chugsy? That happened 40 minutes ago. Why are you interrupting the chat to 12:42 when I was still doing the news? You're doing the exact same thing you're asking me not to do. Okay. All right. There you go. I just want to know, I'm divorced and have a record on my name. I found out a month ago it's still in my name. It was an assault case. I gave my ex-daughter a 7-year-old spanking, and she made the case. Your 7-year-old daughter made a case for a spanking? I don't know what you're talking about, Ricky Pereira. I guess you're asking about refugee questions? Is that what you're asking? Is that what that's about? Once again, but you're out of space because you have enough text there. I'm guessing that Ricky Pereira is divorced. He had a 7-year-old daughter. He spanked the daughter, and then his ex-wife took that to court, and you have a court case. Were you convicted? If you're not convicted, it doesn't mean anything. All right? Lots of people are charged with crimes illegitimately. It doesn't mean anything. But I don't... What are you asking? I don't know. Do you want to come to America in the refugee program? Or do you want to bring your daughter? Do you want to bring your ex-wife? I don't know. I had a headache yesterday, Amanda. I don't really have one right now. Ronaldo moving to the Western Cape. Expat Joubert family says they'll always vote for them. That's wrong, Expat Joubert. That's factually wrong. I don't know how many times I have to prove this to you guys. They'll always vote for them. They won't. They won't. Only 20% of eligible voters voted for the ANC. You have 43 million South Africans you can get votes from. So why don't you get out there and get the votes? The DA's too lazy. They just tell you don't vote for the other parties. Vote for us. And they lost votes. They lost 2% of the voters. They went from 4,004,000 votes in 2014 to just 3,500,000 under John Steenhuisen. Even Musi Maimane got more votes than John Steenhuisen. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It's a disaster. And they run around telling people they were the only party that did well. You did atrociously. The IFP gained votes. EFF got slaughtered. So I'm guessing what he wants, and he's not answering. So anyway. Well, Buster B, you do have stupid voters. Oh, there is Ricky. My ex-wife made the case to get custody of her son 25 years ago. Okay, now you're giving me a completely different story, Ricky. I don't understand. Your ex-wife made a case to get custody of her son. You were talking about your daughter. You said you spanked your daughter. Now you're saying that you're talking about your son? Okay, see, I'm going to have to... Are you saying that you had an ex-wife, you had 2 children, now you have 2 children, you got custody of the son, she filed a case against you because you got custody out of spite because she claimed you spanked your daughter. Were you convicted was the question I asked. Can you please answer that question? Were you convicted? And what was the charge? No, I don't think you can wait till the next election, too. It's too far off. You had one in 2024. You have to wait till 2029. South Africa will sink before then. It will sink before then. What I will tell you is the ANC is going to get slaughtered in the municipal elections, assuming we get to that stage. They'll get slaughtered. Dentist at work. Zelly. 7 Rand. Hey, sir, any news on the City Hall in Sweeney regarding accident staying in Iran? You're very welcome. Thank you for that 700 Rand. Wow, that's nice. That came out of nowhere. Thank you so much for that. Zelly, no updates on that I can find. I'm trying to find someone in Pretoria that can get me a little more information on that. That is the City Hall, and they want to lease or sell it to the Iranians to put a cultural center in there in a historic heritage building. Complete contempt and disregard for the heritage of South Africans when they're not black. That's the government of South Africa. Coloreds, Indians, whites, their heritage, they don't give a flying flip. They don't care. Yep, they don't care. So your brilliant spot on comment on X on Cyril Wilson. Oh, did you? Thank you, Mad Max. Yeah, no, I see that whenever I look there, I always see, what's his name? Thank you for subscribing, Jane. I always see when I go to X, when comments like that, I always see Aaron's Fun Sale, and then I always see, what's his name? The Cat Boy. Who's the Cat Boy? The Kiffness. David Scott loves those cat songs. Yep. All right, moving to Western Cape in less than 3 weeks while still waiting for the refugee application process. Well, it's not an application, Rainier. Statement of interest. Yeah, you're waiting for the process, is right. Spending the last days and weeks and months in Gansbaai on the beach. Okay. My comment from before, our politicians take pages out of old books and think it will turn out differently. Hey, Anne-Marie, I didn't see your comment. Yes, they do. Stanford. I've been to Stanford. I've been to Stanford. And Gansbaai, yeah. I had a lovely meal at Gansbaai. It's good. Yep, and had a meet and greet in Stanford. That was pretty cool. That was my last meet and greet, wasn't it? Or was my next last meet and greet. Keep your Britain, we'll keep our Zimbabwe speech. Yep. I could try and suppress other race cultures. Yep, I think it's in their Communist Manifesto. Yep. Whoop, ye drink beer. Why would you hope that you're drinking beer? I don't understand what that is. Thanks for prayers. Dad called to help me yesterday. Got him ER stents. Good Lord. Sorry to hear that, Richard. I'm glad to hear he's okay. Hofmeyer did a brilliant something this morning. We'll take our message to Amsterdam. Okay. Why does everyone get offended when white people propose an independent country themselves and compatible races? Because they're racist. That's why, Buster. Yes. Shwane is the latest precinct in Tehran. Yeah. Yeah, Zelly97. I'll keep an eye on that story, and I have, if I can get more information. But my sources in Pretoria have not really been responding right now. But thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Where's the blood pressure machine? Right here. It's here for the refugee conversations. This is the news. I don't get too excited about the news. Refugee conversations. So there you go, folks. There's the blood pressure machine. You're welcome, Zelly. Thank you for the super chat. I mean, it's been salty crack. We did Wednesdays with the Colonel, and we brought a bunch of money in for Ronaldo, and everybody got tapped out giving money to Ronaldo. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. South Africa's keeping our minerals and won't export. Yeah, great, good. So keep them in the ground. Don't dig them up. Don't make any money and watch people go hungry. Yeah, that's smart. Plug it in, Russell says. Oh, you hope he drinks. That's why you hope. I know you said he hope he drinks beer. Whoop. What is whoop? I know that word. I know what hope is. Police and courts are mainly the enforcement arm of our supreme leader, Keir Starmer. Oh, Keith is in from Coventry. What's going on, man? Still sad I didn't know when you were here in Gansbaai. I only became aware of you about a month after you've been here. Definitely keep an eye. Well, I did a meet and greet in Stanford. I actually met with some folks in Gansbaai. Yeah, I did. Steenhuisen never ran a business. How is he negotiating international trade deals? Well, Parks Tal has never run anything either. Sad part about propaganda agency blaming whites for their country's downfall is not people get their news from the radio and have no independent radio stations. Most are all controlled by the government. You can't change the function. Well, you've got Radio 702, you've got Jacaranda, you've got East Coast Radio. Are those controlled by the government? You can't change the function of a heritage building without a heritage assessment. It's illegal. Thank you, Snippets. I believe you're correct in that assessment. But they're trying to do it, and they'll do what they want to do because they have total control of the means of violence. They have the only legitimate means of violence. The police, the military, they control it all. You at least give me more info than Ronaldo. Of course they give you a lot more information than Ronaldo. Of course. I'm actual intelligence analyst and a journalist. Ronaldo's just a member of parliament. What does he know? What does Ronaldo know? He's just a member of parliament. Oh, wait. He's not a member of parliament. Ouch. Apparently 1,000 illegal minors, foreigners. Yes, we're aware of that. We covered that a few days ago. Reported on that. Let's test your blood pressure machine October. Do you think the refugee program will take off with massive numbers? I wouldn't say that. It's already taken off. Doesn't Steenhuisen have a farm? Yeah. You can't even mine a place if you can't find a single grave on a property before they did a heritage assessment. Yep. Greetings from the hospital bed. James, my goodness, you're in the hospital. What's going on? A lot of people with medical issues today and family members with medical issues. Plus, someone's, we also had Edwards lost his grandmother. All radio stations are dependent on the state for their operating license. Well, yeah, but that's different than being run by the state. But your point is fair. JJ says, Colonel, thanks for the news. Enjoy the rest of the day and good night to y'all. Okay, well, take care. Franz Murray. Mkisa Jonas said that they should take away freedom of speech. Yeah, I didn't see him say that from white people. I heard he said it, take away freedom of speech. He said it from white people? I want a link to that video. Someone give me a link to that video. Tell me where I can find that video because I will excoriate him. I'll excoriate him. Plug in the tester. Nope. I saw a picture of a white. I'm not going to plug in my blood pressure when I've been drinking caffeine all morning and sugar. It's going to be elevated. Do it when it's calm. I don't want to put anything. If I put that thing on, it says 139 over 92. You're all going to be like, oh my gosh, you have high blood pressure. I don't. My father-in-law is home. They said that he has to go back for a CT scan, but he doesn't look so good. I'm sorry to hear that, Charlene. We found out that I have heart disease. Oh my goodness, Maze. Yeah, well, the rate of DAs expediting removals of young politicians. Yeah, exactly. The space launch wasn't today, Gary. It was 2 days ago. They're still running tests. Okay. Jacaranda is owned by Hikatso Media. Well, that would explain why their on-air personality asked me to come on the program, and then the station nixed it a couple years ago. Text, not enough space. My ex-wife made the case for spanking her daughter 25 years ago, and I won custody of our son. Okay, Ricky, please answer the question. Was it a criminal charge? Were you convicted? What was the charge? Assault? Child abuse? We need to know. Lots of people have cases. When you say made a case, that means nothing. You need to speak English to me, brother. You need to speak English. That's not American English. Were you accused of a crime? Were you charged with a crime? Were you arrested? Were you tried in court and found guilty of a crime? If you weren't, it doesn't mean anything. It's on X. Okay, but where on X, Eli? Where on X? Where do I find it on X? I haven't mentioned that Maersk is leaving, but apparently Byron must have mentioned that Maersk is leaving South Africa. Or someone is. Maersk is the world's largest shipping company. Your roommate's a shark supporter. Have I tried oregano for the rosacea? No, Malcolm, I haven't tried that. What do you mean? Eat it, I assume. Or do I rub it on my face? I'm not being a smart aleck. I'm asking. I've never heard that before. Received an email from DA Steenhuisen blaming Rao and Lamola for failing to secure a trade deal. Well, he's right. No, look, okay, and that one, John Cena is right. It's not his job as the agriculture minister to get a trade deal. He's not the foreign minister. That's Ronnie Lamola and Parks Tow's job. That's the trade minister and foreign. It's their job to get a deal. So on that one, I agree. You guys are just angry at John Steenhuisen. Look, he does not everything he does is stupid. Hi, John. Okay, so what the hell is Ramaphosa saying here?
Increase capacity at all these levels. As we work to grow the economy, we will ensure that we promote employment and economic inclusion.
Not for white people.
We have agreed on a stronger focus on youth employment, including the expansion of the presidential employment stimulus and incentivizing private sector job creation.
This clown has been saying we're focusing on youth employment for 8 years, and youth employment is lower today than it was when he said it the first time. Ricky's talking about if his court case will affect his... Okay, yeah, I get that, Russell Gantz, but he's not answering my question. Court cases don't affect anything. Convictions affect things, okay? That's what I'm trying to get at, and he's not answering the question. Did you have time to look at Jonas' story? William Petzer taught us. No, I didn't. Now, you see, you guys are throwing straight voltage at me. I'm asking where this Nkabisi Jonas comment is that he said something about white people need to be shut up or, but someone said they tagged me on X. That doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what the link is. Whose account is it? Give me the ad account. Tell me whose ad account it's at, please. And you're saying it's on Willem Petzer. No, I haven't seen Willem Petzer's content in ages. Last time I talked to Willem Petzer was right after everything was announced. He went to the embassy, said a bunch of stuff. Before he went to the embassy, asked me if I would come on his program. I agreed. Then I didn't hear from him. I wrote back. Never heard from him again. I haven't heard from Willem Petzer in ages. So Ricky has to tell me if he's got a conviction and what the conviction is, what the charge was, okay? News 24, I didn't say anything about Jonas in News 24. I'll go there. It doesn't mean it's not there. They don't curate the same stories for me. So let me try Jonas and see if anything comes up. Jonas. Because I always misspelled Nkabisi, even though I think it's MC. 13 July is the last thing I got. Nothing here on Jonas. I see nothing. It turns up no search on Jonas except articles from 13 July and earlier. Audrey Masson is found guilty by the press ombudsman who spread misinformation. That's right. Their dedicated disinformation desk is found guilty of doing exactly the... That's awesome. Yeah. So where's that at? Let me go to the press ombudsman. Ronaldo did a video on that. Let's see what they got there. Okay, Press Council, South Africa. Okay, let me see if I can. What's that? He's puking. Who's puking? Parking ships. Yeah, that doesn't help me, Gabrielle Stutz. I don't need to watch other content creators to steal their content ideas. I need the original footage so I can assess it. Thank you for that, Gabriel. I appreciate that. But I need the footage of where this appears or the article where it appears so I can address it. Yeah, I've been arrested 3 times, never convicted. Exactly. So Pierre Rousseau has no criminal record. He's good to go. Okay? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Posting me real today, science is trying to prove intelligence in animals. They should rather look for intelligence in humans. My turn, Alice. What is a VL account? What the heck is VL? You saw the International Space Station. That's pretty cool, John. Why does national issues like growing the economy discuss the NEC conference? It should be discussed. Exactly. It should not be at the NEC. It should be with the GNU. That's correct. That's a good observation. I made that point several times. Stars and Stripes is telling me Willem Petzer. Willem Petzer doesn't help me. Willem Petzer is doing a video. He's doing analysis. I need to know the original stuff. Yeah, if the ANC quit focusing on stuff, things wouldn't get broken. Karen says, I get seen on Friday. Okay, that's good. Karen, did you get your ID back? Today's Monday. Did you get your ID back? Did you find that, by the way? With an assignment from Willem Petzer. All right. Okay. Okay, again, the Willem Petzer thing doesn't help me, guys. I've had Davi Root on the show. What do you want him on the show for, Marius? What do you want Davi Root on the show for? He's on the show. He's just on here a couple months ago. My turn account link. Okay. Thank you, but how did you send it to me? WhatsApp? Telegram? Email? Guys, it's like every day I have to teach people how to use the internet. Oh, wait, here it is. It came in a WhatsApp, I think. All right, Paul, got it. You sent it in a WhatsApp. My turn. Ah, that's what I need. Thank you, Paul. I think Paul got it for me. My turn. Okay. That's not Nkabisi Jonas. That's Secretary General of the Communist Party, Salim Mapila. And I don't see any link to any... There's nothing here. Well, thanks for that link, but there's nothing here. There's nothing here on Nkabisi. It's all a bunch of other stuff. Okay, guys, I'm not going to watch Willem Petzer to get ideas to steal his content. Thank you. Is it Jan just sent that link because I'm not finding on the press council. I'm at the press council. I don't see that story. Oh, that's the one. Okay, it's SAAI. Okay. Okay, that's why I'm not finding. Okay, I did find that one. Okay, thank you for that. That's helpful. Thank you. Quickly on William Petzer, he was signing the Newsroom Africa interviewer speech. Citing. I think Colonel Chris should have Alan Smart on the show. We can discuss life, universe. Who is Alan Smart? It's also mentioned in the messages that are being sent around from the Afro Forum groups. Okay? Okay? I only sent the link to the account. Sorry, I don't know the post being referred to. No, it's okay, Paul. But I mean, I don't see the post either. But thank you for the account. I can go look for that later on. That's the start anyway. 2 black guys sending death threats to our family and said they will rape my wife in front of me, will stick my dog in the microwave, call the police. I understand. Well, I mean, I think the answer to them is that, well, you're going to have a little hard time raping my wife with no genitalia. This is a 12 gauge. Get the fuck off my land. That's the answer you have for those people. And then you make a plan. And you wait. And you wait. And you wait. And they'll learn the hard way. Comment above that. Sausage I found is keeping my folder with ID. Okay, good. Sorry, Karen, I didn't see it. That's why I'm asking. Okay, so are they going to return it to you? You're going to have to make another trip, or you haven't made the trip yet? That's good news. But get it in your hands as quickly as you can. Get it in your hands. Thank you, Bertie. Get it in your hands as quick as you can, okay? Before someone else grabs it and goes, well, you're going to have to give me 400 Rand for it, okay? All right, Karen, get that back as quick as you can. And please, no matter how many distractions there are, don't let your brain wander next time, okay? You can't afford that. That ID is not something you can lose. All right, so Russell Grotz says, sorry to have raised your voice, Colonel. There was a second part. Ricky must take a deep breath. No, my voice isn't raised, guys. I'm trying to help Ricky, but Ricky's gone quiet. Ricky maybe got his answer. He doesn't want to tell us. Ricky, if you've not been convicted of a crime, you don't have a problem. Now, if you've been convicted of a crime, that may not harm you, okay? Folks, our government is aware that foreign governments are often malicious and that people convicted of crimes are often innocent overseas. So being convicted doesn't mean you won't necessarily be able to come over. Malcolm Stark, thank you for the super chat. Dilute it properly. Mix 1 drop of oregano oil with tablespoon. Okay, but you're not answering my question. Do I wear it or do I eat it? Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. I didn't see it, Francis. Okay, thank you. That's what I'm asking. So he said, so he was convicted of assault and got a 5-year suspended sentence. All right, Ricky, if you're still here, this is my recommendation. Follow your statement of interest. When you go to them, you talk to them, explain to them that what happened, okay? Tell them about it, okay? I'm talking about when you get interviewed by the U.S. officials, not something that you talk to when the RCS calls you, because they're just doing screening. Unless they ask the question, okay? But by the time you see U.S. officials, they will have done a background investigation, or it will be underway or completed. And you have to be honest. Don't lie. Tell them the truth. Don't embellish. Don't go on about how it was unjust and this, that, and the other. Just state the facts. State the facts and be honest. It will not necessarily prevent you from coming over, okay? All right? Karen says, yep, big relief. I'm so careful with my stuff. What was rushed? That's what I'm saying. I know, because you had to rush to the bus. Yep. Okay, well, fingers crossed, Karen, okay? All right, be careful when you go out there, too. Okay? 7 to 10 days for passports, says Leonard. Okay, cool. Cool beans. Defender's dilemma, you have to be ready always. Yep. Whites must remember South is the only African country where they can still speak freely without ending up in jail. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's a nice quote. Now I've got to find where that quote's at. But M. Kibisi Jonas just spewed racial bile. First off, white people can speak freely in virtually every African country. I've lived in Tunisia, can speak freely there. I've lived in, although you still have to be careful what you said about the president, but speak freely there. I lived in Liberia. You can say whatever you want in Liberia. I've lived in Botswana. You can say what you want in Botswana, unless you're Kenneth Good, then you get deported. I've lived in Malawi. Could say what I wanted there. Lived in Uganda. Could say what I wanted there. And I lived in Ethiopia. That was a little more closely tight held, but yeah. But white folks can speak in Namibia, in Eswatini, in Botswana. And say what they want. So what is this guy talking about? Rainier is saying Ricky's on our side. Okay. Don't consume essential oils. Mix as above and put on your skin. That's what I'm asking, Barbara. I didn't even read. That's what I'm asking. It's for the skin. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. I think somebody's got a weed eater out there. Something got this high-pitched whining sound out there. One big problem is we teach trespass a lesson, then our days are numbered because they will come back for you or you will be charged. Yeah, Flying Dutchman, I understand what you're saying. So you're just going to sit there and let them come and murder you? No. South Africa does have the largest number of whites in all of Africa. Yep. Algeria used to, but South Africa does. Yep, that's true. Once you turn 50, you become your own doctor. I didn't know that, Alan. Thank you for that. Buster B said that's not true. If you call someone a K, you'll be arrested. Well, Buster, speech isn't universally free. You can't say certain things. I mean, I can't go in a theater and shout fire and get people killed. I mean, I don't get your point. Leo has psoriasis. Well, there's drugs for psoriasis, and that sucks because psoriasis is actually painful and it's physically unappealing. Sorry to hear that, Leo. Well, look, this Rochea thing was quite unexpected. I don't know. I mean, it's my Northern European DNA. It's my Viking DNA. So I guess that's the problem. But yeah, it came on suddenly. Barry said, "Okay, what's this? What did Barry say?" Okay. Managed to get applications done for me and the kids, but I don't think hubby will travel. So I don't think we'll be able to go, but passports in that case. Lynette, I have no idea. We won't be able to get travel document. I don't understand what you're talking about there, Lynette. Business Tech has an article saying the tariffs will hurt fast food chains and South, but I don't think export anything U.S. They don't. They don't export anything to the U.S. It's a stupid statement. The tariffs will hurt fast food chains from a standpoint that the people that have jobs lose jobs and no longer go there. but that's going to affect every business. So that's not unique. See, there's a big misconception. A lot of South Africans seem to think that your prices are going to go up because of the tariffs. No. Nothing imported to South Africa is being hit. So anything we ship to South Africa, like the wrappers for McDonald's hamburgers, doesn't change. Doesn't change. What is going on with Joe Cruiser? No, it's okay, Ricky. It's okay. I can't answer your question unless I know the facts. And you, in your head, it's straight, but you weren't relating it straight. So I understand now what you said. And I'm sorry I missed one of your messages, but I have hundreds of messages coming through over here, so I can't see all of them. And I'm not looking at the chat all the time. And I know that usually the ladies are looking at me, not at the chat, but today they see me looking at the chat. I must be looking kind of unattractive today. Suta would have invaded South Africa. Yeah, I don't think so. Do you know anything about the meeting between ANC and Swazi? No, I haven't heard about that, Fitnut. Unless you're talking about the liberation movement thing. That happened. I know about that. Well, for me, Lindy, it was because of wearing the mask. That's why it happened. Because I was wearing the mask. Still affects me bad. I get flare-ups, can hardly put anything on my face, including sunscreen. Well, my face isn't painful, but what I get is it breaks out. I look like a 12-year-old going through puberty for the first time. So the doxycycline keeps it under control, but I don't like taking antibiotics. So 7 attacks still at a petrol station left me with a holding cell for 5 days without medical attention. Lead detective negotiated settlement out of court. Well, you were illegally detained, so they negotiated a settlement with you. I don't even know if that would happen today. Well, Maze, I refused wearing face nappies too, but I had consulting obligations, which I couldn't get out of. It would have put me in a financial penalty for it. So I went and did it at the War College, and I had to wear the mask when I was there. Who can make a decision to bring the governing party out of reign? What is reign? What needs to happen? Well, first off, you're screwed because the DA has become the junior ANC. They're not there for South Africans. They're there for their blue light escorts and their privileges. And we see that in all their actions. So without the DA, you're really screwed because the DA and the ANC have 62% of the vote and nothing's going to happen. If the DA abandons them, then they're back down to 40% and things can change. But it takes the DA to be men and women of principle, which they don't seem to be interested in being. Eli Berserker is talking about that. Rand will start losing value against the dollar. That's a given. Many small businesses will close, especially those who support or provide goods and services. Yep. When will Europe wake up and start joining the U.S. with the pressure? They won't. The Europeans are busy integrating their illegal aliens and pushing out their own citizens. I mean, we saw a gang rape of a 14-year-old girl, and the female judge in the German court let them go because they didn't understand. They were adults, but they didn't understand the impact of their actions because in their culture it's allowed. I'm not making this up. Look it up. I mean, that's not exactly how it went, but that's basically what happened. These rapists get away with raping a German girl. Gang rape. Because they can. Newsroom Africa video. Okay, that helps a little bit. Newsroom Africa and Kabisi Jonas. All right, that's now we're finally getting somewhere. An hour later, someone finally tells me it's on Newsroom Africa. Six days ago. Well, I'll see what I can find. Link is above. There's no link above. There's no link above. There's no link here. The Refugees chat is the last link. If you're not a content creator or a moderator, you cannot put a link in YouTube chat. YouTube sets those rules, not me. There is no link there. Music, says Francis. Okay, also got Roshea. Thank you, though, for the offer. Klaus, it's not there. UK is broken. Yeah. Taxi industry will be hit indirectly by tariffs. Yep. If you're in a country, you follow the law no matter. Yeah, you would think. Are there other countries that can get involved in taking the current government down? None that will try. Okay, Klaus, I'll go look for your comment. I didn't see anything from you, so maybe I missed it. My apologies. There's Hendo. I see nothing from you, Klaus. That message did not appear in my chat. I've gone back 12 minutes already. No, Klaus, it's not here. You may have posted it, but it didn't show up. YouTube cut it out. It doesn't show up in my stream. Yep. Buster says, see if I can give a crap. Well, it's necessary to expose what's going on. Give us a song. Okay, guys, give us a song. Boy, it's twice now. People are asking for music. We'll do one song. Sydney's Jeans is good. I like that one, but Not My Fault. Tariff Day Blues. How about No Refugees on My Lawn? That's the one I like. That's a little too slow. Let's go with the other one. Stay Off My Lawn. I like that better.
Stay off my lawn, it's not a campsite. No FEMA tents, no late night fights. No refugees, no wild parades. This castle's mine, no renegades. Hit the road, Jack, don't spin me tail. Your liberty's lost like rusty nails. Stay off my lawn, keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. Lie long, lie long. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. Lie, lie. Drying laundry on my hedge fence. Drawing crowds with your nonsense. This ain't a stage, it's my domain. Take your drama down the lane. Pitch your tent where the shadows fall. Not on my grass, not by my wall. No soapbox speeches, no rally calls. This yard's a fortress you can't install. Stay off my lawn. Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. My lawn, my lawn. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn, my lawn. Stay off my lawn. Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. Keep it moving, keep it gone. No flags, no biltong. No fires, no song. Sorry, not sorry, stay off my lawn. My lawn, my lawn. Sorry, not sorry, off my lawn, my lawn. Lawn, my lawn, my lawn. Sorry, not sorry, off my lawn, my lawn.
Stay Off My Lawn. On Radio Afterlife, we'll follow that up with Footsec Yardbirds. Yes, this is for the turd birds in governance in South Africa. Footsec Yardbirds. right, we'll pause that. Someone want to say "Get It Together," then we'll wrap it up. Okay, "Get It Together." Let me find "Get It Together." I've got so many songs now. I got to find out where it's at. "Get It Together." That's come on, "Get It Together." That's a ways back. "Get It Together" is a while ago. I haven't done a rock song in a while because the last couple didn't come out so well. Where is "Get It Together"? Man, I'm going to have to. Cyril the Waffle Man. I don't see "Get It Together." When did I do "Get It Together"? That was a while ago. There it is. "Get It Together." Here it is. All right. You guys wanted this one.
Future's calling, but it don't come cheap. Let's get it together. Rise up and fight. Through the dark days, we'll find the light. South Africa bleeding, but we're still strong. We'll turn this pain into a battle song. Jobs are gone like smoke in the breeze. Leaders talk, but they don't appease. The people wait while the powers stall. How long till we break or stand tall? Let's get it together. Rise up and fight. Through the dark days, we'll find the light. South Africa bleeding, but we're still strong. We'll turn this pain into a battle song. Rings can't bind us, nor tariffs cage. We're a wildfire in a burning age. The ain't seen others, but we'll ignite. We'll take the reins and set it right. Let's get it together. Rise up and fight. Through the dark days, we'll find the light. South Africa bleeding, but we're still strong. We'll turn this pain into a battle song.
"Get It Together." There's the anthem rock song people were asking for. That's the rhythm that people were asking for. Right. I saw here just a moment ago. Where did it go? Where did the chat? Okay. Friends Murray says, "Big shock last night. Watched the interview with Earl Langton. He's my cousin. See how good the refugees are leaving? I never even knew they left. Regards from Fontaine." Yeah, he's been gone for 3 months, brother. 3 months. Yep. And he's already had Annika Larson go interview him. I've gone down there, interviewed him. CNN has interviewed him, all in person. Yep. So there you go. That's crazy stuff, huh? Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right, let's do something positive before we go. And then I did promise no more, but we're going to do one more. Which one do I want to do? That one's going to make people cry. That's not going to do the I won't do the Springbok song either. Let's do the meet and greet vibes. I think that's a good one. Meet and greet vibes. There it is. Let's play the meet and greet vibes. We'll wrap up. It's a short one. We're going to wrap it up here, folks. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done it already. Would appreciate that.
Colonel Wyatt's got a plan so sweet. A meet and greet down Strand's wide street. South African sun kissed the air so bright. We shared our stories through the night. Dozens gathered hearts in sync. With every smile the spirits linked. A room of faces worlds apart, bound by camaraderie heart to heart. Cheers in the air, laughter grows. Friendships tight, it ebbs and flows. Strand lit up like golden beams. A night that turns into sweet dreams. The evening hung with fire and glee. Connections blooming wild and free. Words were sparks igniting light underneath the southern sky tonight. Oh, the beauty, unforgettable glow of strangers and friends we didn't know, tying threads that'll last and weave, moments shared with hearts on sleeves. Cheers in the air, laughter glows. Friendships tight, it ebbs and flows. Strand lit up like golden beams. A night that turns into sweet dreams.
Meet and greet vibes on Radio Afterlife. DJ Silver Eagle here with you, wrapping up the news program. That was inspired by that epic, unbelievably well-attended, shockingly massive meet and greet that we held in Strand when I first arrived in South Africa on the last trip, when we had 150 people show up there, something like that. It was unbelievable. And I went back after the meet and greet, and I came up with the idea and lyrics for that song, and I'm really happy with it. Yep. So you can find that on Spotify, and you can also, if you want to buy the music, you can buy the music too. It's available. It's one of 40 plus songs that are currently loaded up. We are rapidly approaching 1,000. I didn't check today to see how many we have, but 1,000 viewers. DJ's Silver Eagle. Let's see what it says now. At 975 last night. Let's see if it's changed. Not viewers, listeners. 987. We're 13 listeners away in just a few weeks from having a 1,000 listener channel on Spotify. Yeah. And we're also on iTunes, Apple Music Store, Amazon, Dweezer, and a bunch of other places. So that's pretty cool, folks. Thank you all for who've joined that. I think you enjoy the music. You can play in the background. DJ Silver Eagle. All right. That's going to do it for this one, folks. I did a video earlier analyzing the South African government's response to Trump's tariffs. I'll do another one on Nkibisi Jonas if I can find that video. And I'm also going to go make one right now about something else. Do a short. All right. You guys take care. We all need friends like you, Colonel. You're very welcome, Katie. It's my pleasure. All right, don't let the pigeons. Yeah, well, I got birds in my shutters out here. That's enough. I don't need pigeons. I got enough problems with little tiny barn swallows and such. All right, guys, cheers. Hit the like button. I haven't gotten there. 671. We could do better than that. Thank you all for the super chats. Appreciate that. 36046. Thank you very much. Appreciate you giving me a tip off to that story about the Maersk. I believe it was Maersk you were talking about from Byron. Thank you for that. Cheers.